Hello students, myself Professor Ankur and I welcome everyone for the GATE theory session on analog circuits. Today we are going to cover an important topic, Class C power amplifier and heatsink. This is our fifth session on power amplifier. Let's start with the session now. So we are starting with now Class C power amplifier. As discussed earlier, the Q point of the Class C power amplifier will be set below the cutoff region, or you can say below the zero level of the DC load line. The angle of the conduction will be less than 180 degree, because when we talk about Class B, the angle of the conduction was exactly 180, where the transistors were conducting for half the cycle. In Class C, since the Q point is shifted below, you will find that the transistors are going to be on for less than a half cycle. And that's the reason the angle of the conduction is less than 180 degree. This is achieved using a concept called as negative biasing, and the overall efficiency of Class C power amplifier will be around 90%. On the right hand side figure, you can see clearly the position of the Q point and the impact of output, where you can see the signal clearly specifying that the angle of the conduction is going to be less than the 180 degree. So to implement or realize a Class C circuitry that can be achieved or designed using a concept where we are going to use a transistor, and for the transistor you can see the resistor at the base defined by RB and a biasing potential defined as minus of VBB. At the base we are going to give an input coupled to the base of the transistor with the help of a coupling capacitor. The output will be taken at the collector end. The collector is having a resistance by the name RC and the battery point is VCC. The emitter will be grounded, implies it's a common emitter configuration. Now when you look at the diagram carefully, you can clearly observe that when you give an input signal, when the input signal exceeds the requirement, that is VBB, that is magnitude of VBB plus VBE, then only the transistor will turn on. It's a very logical understanding. Suppose if I apply minus 5 volt to the transistor, so it's as good as the transistor can be on only when the base emitter potential becomes greater than 0.7. So to achieve that, first of all, the input signal will nullify the impact of minus 5. So it has to reach till 5. So that is the magnitude of minus of VBB, that is VBB. And apart from this, it requires additional 0.7 to make base emitter forward bias. So that's the reason the extra voltage required is VBE. And hence the reference voltage corresponds to VBB plus VBE, where VBB is basically the magnitude of the value. So you will find that once the input crosses that reference point, automatically the transistor will turn on and you will get amplification. For the negative half cycle, the transistor will remain in the off state. So what's the observation? Only for a part of the input cycle, that too for a part of a half cycle, you will get conduction. And that's the reason the angle of the conduction for Class C circuitry will be less than 180 degree. Now the only confusion that will be there, that how do you get full cycles? So to achieve full cycles, we normally use tank circuits, which is a combination of inductor and capacitor instead of the resistor RC. So the RC will get replaced by tuned tank circuits, and hence they will be coming under the category of tuned Class C power amplifier. So that will be a minor adjustment done so that we can create a full cycle from the amount of impact produced at the collector end. At the lower diagram, you can clearly observe the variation of current versus the voltage graph, which will justify that the angle of conduction has been less than 180 degree in Class C circuitry. The overall efficiency of the Class C will be 90%. We don't have any theoretical analysis for this Class C circuitry. The next topic is heat sink in power amplifier. As the name suggests, we are talking about a term defined as heat sink. So all of us are aware that whenever an electronic circuitry, it is like an engine. It's like an engine of a car. So if I keep the car on for a long time, the engine will turn on and it will be heated up and it will be dissipating heat. On similar lines, when the electronic circuits are operating, even they get heated up and they will be dissipating heat. So for us, we need to understand that there is a device. Our device is a BJT or a transistor or anything. It can be a MOSFET or FET, whatever it may be. So the devices are going to dissipate heat. So that heat is going to propagate from the device to the case. So now the heat will start flowing out from the device towards the case, and from the case it will go to air. So now all of us are aware that whatever heat was dissipated by the transistor, entire heat will never reach the case, neither entire heat will reach the air. Because if that was true, the transistor would have been cooled off very easily and there would have been no dissipation, or the heating effect would have not sustained. But all of us are aware that in electronic circuitries, as and when they are kept on, the longer they are kept on, the dissipation will keep on going. So what we need to understand here is the heat that is going to be dissipated by the device, it will be dissipated through the junction. That heat will propagate from the junction to the case, and from the case it will go to the air. But all of us are aware the entire heat will never go from the junction to the air directly. Implies there is some opposition between the junction and the case and the case and the air. That opposition is normally called as thermal resistance. So that's the reason we can see the term theta JC or RTH JC as the thermal resistance between junction and case. RTH JA is basically theta JA, that will be the thermal resistance between the junction and the air. And theta CA will be the thermal resistance between the case and the air. What we need to understand here is, since there is a problem of propagation of heat, we need to provide an additional equipment that will support the flow of power dissipated easily from the device to the air. And that's the reason we used a device called as heat sink. So heat sink is basically an element that will support proper propagation of heat from the device to the air. So it is his duty to eliminate the problem of high thermal resistance. So it will be his duty to minimize the thermal resistance and ensure that heat will propagate from the device, that is the junction, to the air smoothly. So we are having three terms, Tj, Tc and Ta, defined as junction temperature, case temperature and air temperature. What we need to understand here is, if the heat sink is provided, then the heat sink will support in better loss, or you can say better dissipation of power to the air. But if the heat sink is non-existing, then definitely the power issues will be a constraint. So we need to have a path. The path starts from the junction, it goes to the case, and from the case to the air in the absence of the heat sink. But once you have the heat sink in between, the propagation path will be from junction to case, case to heat sink, and heat sink to air. So when we talk about the power is normally defined as the difference of the temperatures divided by the thermal resistance. That's a basic formula for getting the power dissipation value. So as you can see here, we can see the junction, the case, and the heat sink and the air. The oppositions will be specified as theta JC, theta CS, and theta SA. So the total temperature difference will be Tj minus Ta, and the power dissipated value will be defined as Tj minus Ta divided by theta JC plus theta CS plus theta SA. Very simple to understand here. In the absence of the heat sink, the power dissipated will go from the junction to the case and case to air. But in the presence of the heat sink, the power will go from junction to case, case to heat sink, and heat sink to air. So overall, if you observe, we are discussing the power dissipation from the junction till air, where the theta SA will be present if we are considering with heat sink, and the theta SA will be absent when we are considering without heat sink. So this is the basic background of heat sink in power amplifiers.